book. It's a free download. I encourage you, if you're interested in the world of marketing, you can get this from Google. It was written by the executives at Google. It's called Winning the Zero Moment of Truth. And when I first read this book about 4 years ago, it profoundly changed the way that I viewed the world of marketing, and it profoundly changed the way that I operated in that world. There were some real big shifts that we made in our thinking and how we operate in the world of marketing. And one of the interesting parts about this particular concept is the critical thought in this book was that in the traditional method of marketing, what happened was, and this was sort of invented by Procter & Gamble back in the 60s or 70s or something. If you went to marketing school, you probably learned this traditional method. And what it was is that, as a consumer, I receive a stimulus. I think I might want to sell my house. I think I might want to buy a house. I think I might want to buy a digital camera, whatever it might be. And I received that stimulus, and then what I would do is I would go to what was called the first moment of truth, which was the shelf. So if I was buying a camera, I would go to the camera, I'd play with the cameras, I'd look at them, I'd feel them, touch them, I'd talk to the salesperson, I'd ask questions, but I would largely make my decision as to which camera I'm going to buy at the shelf. Similarly, if I would go with a realtor, I would go interview realtors, I would sit down with them, I would decide who I'm going to deal with. I would largely make most of my decision at the shelf. And so what Google has said is there's this new thing happening, and I know it's a little bit tough to see in this slide, but right in here is what they call the zero moment of truth. So long before I ever darken the shelf, before I ever go meet with my realtor, or in the digital camera example, I am doing a bunch of research today. I'm looking at a lot of different things long before I ever make that decision. So as marketers now, there's a new challenge. And so, for example, we know from the mortgage industry, there's a survey that our national association does in conjunction with CMHC every year. One of the findings in that survey, it's been consistent for a number of years now, they said that the average Canadian today starts to look for information, starts thinking about, receives their stimulus 11 months before they actually buy a house. So if that's true, then as a marketer, as a real estate marketer today, how do I cut through the noise in an ever increasingly noisy world? How do I get my message to get to somebody who I've never met through the noise? I'm not only competing with other real estate marketers, I'm competing with all marketers. Think about it, as consumers ourselves, we are inundated with marketing messages. And that's on top of my Facebook status updates, my tweets, the LinkedIn, best spammers in the world, email, text messages, voicemail, all this noise coming at me. And so as a real estate marketer today and going forward, how do I get my message heard? How do I become the one that's not deleted? Because people are starting to look for my message way sooner than they ever used to. Okay? So, there's another thought. And that is that there's a new currency in the world of marketing. And that currency is the currency of attention. It's ever so more important now as a marketer that I understand this concept, I believe. Much like you, I think when I'm thinking about my marketing, I think about the currency that's in my wallet. I think about how much is this going to cost me? What's my return on my investment? Is this a sound business decision for me to make and spend this money on marketing? But I see marketers mess this up a lot these days, whereas do I consider the currency of my prospect's attention in the same value or maybe more valuable than the currency in my wallet? In other words, am I putting those in the same place? Because today, capturing my prospect's attention, we've said, is increasingly more difficult. And so if I am sending out the same old stuff, or worse, it's the same as everybody else in my marketplace, then I've got a problem. I am wasting attention. And I increasingly become the person that my prospect just deletes. It needs to be things that my prospect is not expecting, that it is genuinely surprises them. It's something they have not yet seen in a marketplace. And more importantly, it compels them to spend. And I'm not necessarily saying here spend their money, although as a marketer, to the extent that I do this well, if I craft my message and the tactics I use are something that does cut through the noise at the zero moment of truth, and my message gets heard long before somebody's ever going to meet me, to the extent that I do that well, I will make more money. I will grow my business. I will get more listings. I will have more buyers. I will sell my homes faster. It's just the way it goes in the new world of marketing, I believe. What I'm talking about here is compelling them to spend their currency of attention for that ever-fleeting moment. Am I the person that they read? Am I the person that says, I'm listening to you? Right? And in an increasingly noisy world, when I'm competing against all marketers, that's becoming more difficult. Okay? So, people who know me well know that I'm a real devout follower of a marketing writer, Seth Godin. And in fact, one of the reasons I've done that, I've read a lot of his books the last 10 years, I read his blog every day, and one of the reasons why I do that is as I'm reading his books, I often get the thought that what I am reading, what I am learning is cutting edge. It's something that has not yet happened. He's like a sort of like a futurist in marketing thinking, in my opinion. And so this book called The Icarus Deception was written in the past year. And there's a couple of key thoughts that I want to pull out from that because I really think this is where I think we're going in the world of marketing. And one of those things is that we know that in the world today, things that are scarce in supply are more valuable. So think diamonds. Anything that's in limited supply, the prices go up. That's the facts. That's just the way of things. And so how do I take that concept to the world of marketing? What is scarce in the world of marketing? And more specifically, what is scarce in the world of real estate marketing? So for example, a couple of weeks ago, I was at a show in Regina. And the night before the show, I was out for dinner and I just happened to walk by one of those newsstands and I picked up the local Homes and Land magazine. I'm sure you have all kinds of real estate print magazines around here as well. As I'm flipping through it, it's just same old, same old. Pick me, I'm an awesome realtor. Pick me, I'm great. Pick me, I'm experienced. Pick me, I won some award that nobody knows what it means anymore and nobody cares. Or the whole magazine was, I've got this beautiful house for sale, here's the price, you want to buy it? So it's like nothing in this entire magazine was jumping out. Nothing was new. Nothing was exciting. Nothing was different. Right? So nothing's scarce. And so just a couple of the concepts that pulled out of the book was that if my message today is something around those types of things, although it may be true that I'm really good, I'm confident, I deliver quality, I'm very experienced, all of that might be true. And I'm not saying you don't necessarily mention it, but it shouldn't necessarily today be my leader. Because everybody in the marketplace is saying, well, you all say that. And more importantly, I expect that today. You know, if you're not confident in quality and all of these things, well, then I don't even get to play the game today. People have higher expectations. So what is scarce in marketing, and Seth Godin said, is my message has to build trust, connection, and surprise. So let's go through that. Trust is an obvious one. In our space, mortgage and real estate, it's a trust-based business. I get it. That's why we end up getting good repeat business, good referrals from our past customers, all of those things. I understand that. But how do I build trust with somebody who I've never met? 7 months, 8 months, 4 months, 9 months before I ever will meet them. How do I build trust with them in that ever a little bit moment where I've got that fleeting moment to be able to capture their attention? How do I build trust? Connection. Connection is an emotional journey. Today, I believe sales has changed. I started in the real estate business, which maybe if I look around the room, some of you might have been there too, where in the olden days where it was the newsprint catalog was the MLS, right? So I controlled all the information. And more importantly, as a salesperson, and this was sort of, I think, I call what I call first generation sales. And in that time period, the salesperson, I needed the salesperson to transfer information to me. I needed the salesperson to tell me what I didn't know as a prospect. Today, I don't want that. Today, I don't need that. Today, I much prefer to go find out my own information. What I need from a salesperson today is to transfer emotion. How does it feel like for me to do business with you? So it's this connection part that I'm talking about is an emotional. How do I make an emotional connection with somebody who I've never met, 6 months before I'm going to meet them, in my marketing message? How do I do that? How do I impact? The last one is surprise. That was an easy one. I mentioned that earlier. So I need to make sure that the message that I'm saying and or the tactics, how I'm saying my message, does it genuinely surprise my prospect? Because that's how I gather attention, and attention is a new currency. So, sort of left you hanging here and sort of say, okay, I get it. How do I cut through the noise at the zero moment of truth? I need to craft a message that has trust, connection, and surprise. Okay, great. How do I do that? Well, here's what I think. I think that Every business, this is going to be 4 years of business school in the next 30 seconds. So every business, every sales and marketing opportunity, everything that we do as marketers really comes down to one thing, and it's a problem in the marketplace. If I have created a meaningful enough solution for a meaningful problem in the marketplace that people are willing to pay me for, that's business. That's how it works. However, here's the challenge that we get lulled into as marketers. If my problem is a surface that I'm trying to solve, is a surface level problem, then I'm not unique. For example, if I'm going to buy a house, if as all of you as real estate marketers in here will say, well, I can solve that problem. I can help you buy a house. But that means everybody can do it. So what I really need to do, if I want to be unique and I want to really cut through the noise, I need to help my prospect discover a problem that they didn't even know that they had. That takes them to a deeper level of thinking. I help them discover something that they didn't see. Connect dots for them that nobody else told them about. And if I can do that in my marketing message, then I build trust, connection, and surprise at some level. Let's go through that. Trust. Well, if I'm a prospect and I hear a message that helps me connect dots that nobody else told me about, or it helps me discover some deeper level thinking of a problem that I didn't know about, then at some level I have trust with that particular marketer. Connection. I said it was an emotional journey. If I'm a prospect and you've helped me discover a problem I didn't know I had, connected some dots for me, at some level I am connected to you, I'm impacted, I'm excited, I'm inspired, I'm happy, or I might be fearful, I might be doubtful, I might now have some more uncertainty, which actually as a marketer is a good place for me to get my prospect to. Because if I can help them discover a problem that now has them feeling a little bit fearful or doubtful, then they're going to seek me out for the solution because they want to move away from that pain as quickly as possible. Right? And then finally, surprise. By very definition, if I help somebody discover a problem they didn't know they had or connect dots that they didn't see before, I've surprised them. And so, from that point, if that's my message and I'm building trust, connection, and surprise, I get heard at the zero moment of truth when I'm competing against everybody. Okay? So let's switch gears here for a little bit. Let's think about buyers in your marketplace. What is the problem that they might not know that they have? Or what are some dots that we might be able to connect for them as real estate marketers that other real estate marketers are not connecting for them? Okay? So for buyers, we stumbled across a survey once done by the National Association of Realtors in the U.S. And one of the things that they said was that there is a 95% of home buyers. And you've got realtors in the room, you guys will nod your heads or say, yeah, that's been my experience. I totally get it. It's exactly what happens for me. But when I'm showing properties, when you're out showing properties and you're showing them to the buyers, and then you're sort of like, well, what'd you think? What do I often hear? Right? The study said 95% of people said, I didn't buy the house because it was from something very small that I wanted to customize about the home, tweak it, something I didn't quite like about it, to something a lot more larger about the home that needed a renovation or a repair. That was the reason I didn't buy the house. Now, that's only half the challenge. It's only really half the story. The other half of the story comes from some learning we have from the mortgage industry, and I'm sure you know this. All first-time home buyers today, I think, and for sure even second-time home buyers, particularly in this marketplace, I think, and increasingly even more third-time home buyers. Where is all the money that they have in the world, their entire net worth, when they're buying a house, where's that money going? Their down payment and their closing costs, generally speaking, for sure first-time home buyers, second-time home buyers, right? And so, let's put those two dots together. I didn't like something about the house. I didn't like that the carpet needs replacing. I didn't like that the bathroom windows need to be replaced in the next 2 years. I didn't like that the shingles are curling up. I didn't like that they didn't have a garage. I didn't like the carpets. I didn't like that it needs to freshen up on the paint, whatever it might be. I didn't like the front entranceway. I didn't like that about the house, and I have no money. Right? So what do I got to do?
Renovate.
Or I got to move on to the next house. I'm going to tell you to go show me another house. Because I'm not willing to buy that house as it is, and I don't have any money to do anything with it. So I move on to the next house. And then you, as a realtor, you're like, I got to keep showing houses. And what do I got to do? I got to keep showing more and more and more houses today because people Especially, as we all know, in a tightening supply market, this is increasingly more difficult, right? Because I'm trying to hit every box on their wish list and get them the home that is move-in ready for them, which is increasingly more difficult to do. And so then I go, oh, I got to show these people more houses, I'm going to choke them out. Because it's like, I got to keep showing them houses, I got to keep showing them houses, I got to keep showing them houses. Because I'm trying to find that perfect house for them. Okay, so now what happens is, let's say that you're out showing houses, it doesn't matter, we can interchange back and forth. This could be your listing or you're showing houses. What happens is now, you're out showing houses and the marketing message that that particular prospect sees, they looked at 4 houses that day. They've been looking at houses for 2 months. And then all of a sudden they see this. And it says, now, it's hard to see this right now, but I'll describe the picture for you. Say it's a circa 2000 kitchen, oak cabinets, basic trim, crappy tile, small island, no backsplash, basic appliances, basic kitchen. Okay? And then they see the marketing message that says, the Canadian Home Renovation Plan will give you up to $35,000 to customize this home to your taste. Oh, what? Huh? What is that? I never heard that before. How does that work? Now, let's say that's my listing, and you're all of my buyers. I have something that's just changed for us, and we've learned this in the last couple of months, and it's pretty cool, I think. Something we didn't necessarily see. As the listing realtor, I'm able to speak to you, somebody who is not my customer. I'm marketing to you. You're going to enter a marketing funnel, and I get to talk to you. I get to show you. And why am I doing that? I'm not trying to steal you from the other realtor. That's outside. What I'm trying to do is get you to pick my house. My house is the one I want you to buy. Right? But I'm not going to rely on the other realtor to help me do that if I can do it better. This is a really cool thing as a listing realtor, what we've learned where they're really being able to do that and sell their homes faster. Okay? So, the Canadian Home Renovation Plan will do that. What is it that we are doing here? This is what I call a pattern interrupt. In marketing, it's really, really important. It's kind of that proverbial record scratch across somebody's brain. I think people follow patterns, the way we think when we're a prospect. I think maybe you guys will know this too. When you're showing property, they probably follow a pattern as to which way they look at the house, which rooms they go to and how they go, but certainly how they're thinking is a pattern. So I want to get them off that pattern. That's how I capture attention. Trust, connection, and surprise. New messages they've never seen before. I can customize this home. I can get $35,000. How does that work? Record scratch. I've got your attention for that moment. Okay? And so as a listing realtor, I'm speaking to that client. As a buyer's agent, I'm now being able to sell that home quicker because I'm helping my prospect be able to put the two together. I actually like this area. I like the house. It's in the school that I want to go to. It's 2 blocks from my mom's house. Like, I love everything about it, but I'm unwilling to live in that kitchen. But now I just learned that I can easily get $35,000 to customize the kitchen, add it to my mortgage, $85 a month, and we're good. Like I'm in. I want to buy the house. That's how it works. Okay? So, let's review. What I want to do as marketing is I want to be able to create a pattern interrupt. Now, if it's not already difficult enough for me as a marketer to cut through that noise and get prospects' attention at the 0 moment of truth, I've already said that's increasingly more difficult. What I need to do, once I've done that, now it's a whole new problem. Because we live in a self-diagnosed attention deficit disorder society. Right? So we all walk around like this. We don't talk to each other anymore. We we have an attention span of a gnat. If a squirrel runs by, you've lost my attention. Right? And so as a marketer, I've done all that work to get your attention, and now what I need to do in today's world is I need to deliver the information that my prospect is looking for in the precise moment that they are looking for it. And the speed that I need to do that today is at the speed of thought. And so I can only use technology. Imagine a scenario where one of the things I want you to vision of a real estate marketing system that is driving funnels everywhere. So while I'm showing property and I'm out golfing, I'm sailing, I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing, I've got all these marketing funnels out there where all my prospects are in those funnels and they're being nurtured by technology long before I'm ever going to meet them. I'm speaking to them through technology. Okay? That's New World Marketing. And that's delivering the information quickly to my prospect. Okay? Then the final thing is solve a problem. Solve a real problem. More importantly, solve a problem that my prospect didn't know that they had. Okay? So, a couple things now. One of the things that I said earlier is that we want to eliminate created this program, we said, what is it that we think we're going to do for realtors? And there was 3 things. The first one was help realtors win tough listing competitions. Okay? So I don't have to bring a program to you on listing competitions that fall in your lap. You know, good past customer, good referral, whatever. But thinking back on your last year, was there listing competitions that maybe I didn't win? How much money did I leave on the table? But more importantly, looking forward into the next year, if it's true that we're going to continue with this constrained supply in the marketplace, it's possible that if the same amount of realtors are fighting over a less amount of a supply, it's going to be more competitions. So what might I do? As a realtor, when I'm going into a listing competition today, I think that, and we've proven this now, we've got lots of feedback from realtors who are saying, man, my showings are up, I'm winning listing competitions, everything's happening because of this new thing. I show up at a seller, I'm in competition, and what ends up happening a lot today? I'm sure it's not for many of you in here, but what happens is each realtor is just sort of one-upping one another to say, well, I'll do this, well, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. And sometimes, increasingly, the seller is saying, well, you're both basically saying the same thing at some level, as far as I'm concerned. So then it comes down to, well, who's going to offer me a higher list price or who's going to do it cheaper? Sometimes that's where it comes down to, right? Sometimes not. Sometimes I'm sure some of you are excellent, great, get some really unique marketing programs that win listings. I'm sure that's true. But I know from a fact that when I can go to a seller and I can say, and I can show them the Canadian Home Renovation Plan and say, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, we've got 5 other competing houses in this area that are very tight competition to you. How might we make your home stand out? Okay, well here's one way that we might do that. You know, and particularly for those homes that it's obvious it needs some customization or needs some help, particularly for those homes. But I can show my seller the program and say, we want to expand the possibility of the marketplace of people who might be able to buy your house. I tell them about, we don't know, you don't know, and I don't know how people are going to want to customize the home. I get that you love the bright red feature wall and the purple carpet, but other people don't like that. You know, I get that you think the kitchen is great, but other people want granite. So we just don't know. So here's what is good about this, is that we've learned that people want these things, but that they have no disposable money to buy them. And so this program just expands their marketplace and people might be able to buy the house. I explain it to them and I show them the technology and I show them everything about how I'm going to market the home. And the seller says, you know what, you're that much different, this is really cool, I get it, I've connected those dots, I pick you. And so we have proven that we're winning a lot more listing competition. The second one was sell homes faster. Beat the local days on market average. Okay? And so if I'm in any business, if I have excess inventory of a product or at something, then it's costing me money. And it's certainly eroding my margin, which is costing me profitability. I'm not as efficient as a business person. In real estate, I think that, for example, if I have a large inventory of listings, whatever large means to me, then it's costing me money to carry those listings. Obviously, we get it, all the maintenance and all that. But more importantly is the cash flow. I've built my business and my lifestyle that I need the cash flow to feed the dragon. And so I need my houses to sell. I need them to go in a quick thing. And so I want them to sell really quickly. Similarly, if I have a large stable of buyers that I'm working with, whatever large means for me, it's the same, easy stuff, get maintenance in my car, gas, all that time. But most importantly, I'm trading time for money in that space. Okay? So if I'm out showing properties and I'm not turning houses over, I'm not making money and I'm wasting my time. And so, for example, if I'm a realtor, and particularly if I'm working with buyers, or if I have a large team and I have buyer's agents that work with me, this one stat would be the one stat I would cover, the number one stat in my entire real estate career. I would follow it every single month and I would be on it. That would be the thing I'm looking at, and that is, how many showings does it take me to do as a buyer's agent, because it's all about efficiency. If I can show less houses to sell more houses, to show less homes to sell, that's good. Sell homes faster. So imagine, if I'm out, once my buyer, and we have really, this particular one, excellent proof on this. If I'm a realtor with my stable of buyers, and my buyer is really knowledgeable, knowledge is power, remember, I want that information. If I'm really knowledgeable about how the home renovation plan works, I'm sitting down with Lee and I'm getting pre-approved and I know how the money works, I know how the renovations work, I know how the escrow works, I know everything about it. I'm solid in my knowledge of that program. When I give that person back to you, this is what's happened. In practice, we do this all across Canada. The big surprise was people were saying, that I sent them back to the realtor, and the customer said, I want to go buy that house you showed me 10 days ago. Because I remembered that house, and now that I know how to do what I can do, I want to buy that house. So realtors are selling the house that day. Or the next house they show, or the next house they show, they buy. Because the customer is switched on, they get it, they understand it, and I can tweak and I can customize. I know exactly how I can get the money, I know how it adds to my mortgage, I understand it. So as a buyer's agent, when I have my buyers, this program sells homes faster. Done. It's just proven. Okay? So let's talk about another pattern interrupt. Here's, I know it's a little bit difficult to see on the screen, but Realtor.ca listing, okay? This probably looks somewhat familiar for you. This is a tactic that we started introducing in early January, and realtors across Canada are using it a lot more, and they're reporting back. It's like, yeah, it's working for me. I'm getting calls. I'm getting things happening. My houses, I'm getting more showings. So imagine, here's how it works on a pattern interrupt. You know how it works. I'm either not quite yet active in the marketplace, I'm at the zero moment of truth, but we know what happens. These young people today, you know, they sit down, they put their pajamas on, pour a glass of wine, and they huddle around the computer all night and look at houses, right? And so I'm not yet active in the marketplace, but when I see this listing, and I see that message that says, right at the very beginning, this home comes with a special $40,000 home customization plan included. You know, it's just a C agent for details. You see how that's just like, that's a pattern interrupt. I don't know, what is, like, I just see $40,000. How do I get this money? Right? So what do? I call the realtor. But if I'm active in the marketplace, this house gets added to my showing tour because I want to know what that's all about. Right? I may not call the listing realtor in that case, but I'm definitely telling my realtor, I want to go see this house. If it's in my price range and it's everything else, I'm adding this to my showing tour. The realtors are reporting to us just this tactic alone. I'm getting more showings. I can methodically show that I'm getting more showings because because of that pattern interrupt. Here's an example. Bob's an agent of ours in Victoria, and he said one of my realtors put this on their MLS comments, and within an hour she got a call from someone who had read the ad. So I followed up with Bob, and within about the next 2 weeks or so, that particular customer for that realtor, so it was a listing realtor who got a call from some prospects, and it converted into somebody. Now that listing realtor is out showing properties. Okay, I haven't followed up since, but they, you know, eventually they're going to buy a house. You know, she ended up getting a lead right off the MLS comments. How many times do we get that? Okay, this is the audience participation component of today's presentation. So please take out your smartphones. For those of you with Blackberries, take out your dumb phones. I'm just kidding. We're friends. I'm just kidding. It's actually a bad joke, I know, poor BlackBerry company. Hey, there's Talk Rise last week, so we're coming back. We're coming back. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. On the text, it's kind of hard to see, so I want you to text this code 10326 to the phone number 33344. So here's what I'm saying. So if I was texting my mom, the phone number that I'm texting to, my mom's number, would be 33344. So create a new message, send it to the phone number 33344. And in the message box where I would type in, hi mom, I would put in 10326. Okay? And then it'll do that. We're going to come back to your phones, and I got some screenshots for those of you who didn't want to play along at school. So now I want you to consider the idea that you are buyers, and I am the listing realtor for this particular house, okay? So now you've shown up at this house, and you're about ready to go on the showing, and your realtor's not there yet, and you happen to show up at this house, and this is the lawn sign that's out on the lawn. Okay? What is that? What is it what I'm trying to do right here? This is starting the pattern interrupt. So I've showed up at the house, I've looked at 4 houses today, and I see this lawn sign that says, this home comes with a special home customization plan included. Again, a headline, and we have multiple headlines that we play around with. We have headlines that are a little bit more edgy for those edgier marketers, and then we have more conservative ones. This one's on the conservative side. So, but it's designed, the headline is just designed to get pattern interrupt. It's like, well, what is that? Okay, I don't even know what that means. And they may or may not text at this point. The texting is also designed for the guy walking the dog, people driving around the neighborhood, or, you know, the nosy neighbors, or whatever the case may be. Okay? So, now, you've come in, you've got the pattern interrupt, you're wondering what's a home customization plan. If you texted in, you got that. Then you go into the house. Okay? And now we've set the house up. Pattern interrupt style marketing. I've got postcards all over the house now. Let's say I walk into the kitchen, and there's a postcard, maybe it's stuck up with fun tack up on the island pillar or whatever, or maybe it's sitting in one of those brochure stands, or maybe it's just laying loose on the island or on the breakfast bar. And this particular card says, you can't see this here, but it says, your perfect kitchen for $91 per month. We live in a monthly payment driven society. That's what people make decisions on, right? So, then it says here, speak to Greg Williamson now, and you can get the details on how you can spend $20,000 renovating this kitchen and add the cost of your mortgage for only $91 per month. Okay? So again, I'm now just keeping that pattern interrupt going. They're like, wow, imagine I went into that old 12-year-old kitchen and I see this. Now I'm starting to understand, okay, well I can add it to my mortgage. Well, how does that work? Just keep, now I'm nurturing. Remember, it's my listing, you guys are the buyers. And now you come in, let's say you text or whatever you do, you're in my marketing funnel learning about a program that's going to make my house stand out amongst all the other houses that you're looking at, and I want to sell you my house. Right? So I'm marketing to somebody else's client to make my house sell faster. Okay? So then I'm walking around the house and I see the bathroom. This one says you can get the perfect bathroom for $54. I can change the windows or the floor coverings. I can have a finish the basement. I can do a garage. We have multiple different cards. I should mention something which I forgot to mention here. It's a good time to say that. Everything that you're seeing from right here forward, starting with the mobile website that you played with earlier, the texting technology, and all of this print marketing, everything that you're about to see for the balance of today's presentation, we built the system so that it's completely done for you. There's absolutely no work on behalf of the realtor. Let me say that again. There's absolutely no work on behalf of the realtor. Now, truth in advertising, here's what you got to do. You open up your email. Reasonably easy to do. You type in the MLS number, you press send. That's it. Everything else is done. All of this customized, co-branded, built the websites, all the mobile, everything's done for you. Okay? So now let's say that, I know it's really too bad, it doesn't pop up here, but we have some samples and maybe we can dig out and show you some of the samples. But it's too bad it doesn't pop out of here on the screen. But so I'll walk through it. But let's say you're going now, you get to the dining room table and there's a feature sheet on the table. Okay? A lot of realtors are saying, well, you know, I'm just going to use this feature sheet, or I just put it in conjunction with the feature sheet that I've already created for the house, whatever, it doesn't matter. And so, but what it's done for us is that we actually pull in the actual MLS photos of that particular listing, okay? And then what's the first thing that happens? There's a headline here that says, the Canadian Home Renovation Plan will provide you with up to $40,000 to customize this home to your taste. Now that number, 40,000, it was 35,000 on the previous slide. How we get that number is we follow the much more conservative CMHC guidelines for this particular program, the lending part of this program, which is 10% of the list price to a maximum of $40,000. Genworth will actually do 20% of the list price to a maximum of $40,000. And we have lots of lenders that will even do even more than $40,000. But we market the more conservative approach for two reasons. One, we want to stay in the guidelines so that it's easy to, you know, regulators and all those guys, it's all cool. But also, which is hard to see here, one of the things I want to make sure going forward, I have very trustworthy marketing. I have very transparent marketing. No more manipulations or tricks or pull the wool over people's eyes, because that stuff doesn't work anymore. Right? It's too easy for me to get outed. And then my prospect is mad at me and I'm done. Right? So we be very truthful. We say, here's how much money it'll cost you per month. We add all the math into for this particular list price. Remember, every single component of the program is custom. Anybody can do a generic feature sheet with any generic math. Every single listing, depending on the purchase price, is custom, so that these numbers are custom for that particular listing. I think it's really important because the people are making decisions based on the budget and the math that's comfortable for them. So we tell them right here, here's how much money it'll cost you for that. So if we did, you know, this list price is $70,000. If I did 20% of the list price or a maximum for whatever the number, it's going to be way too high. And then the number, the math works out and it freaks people out. So we just market it based on the CMHC guidelines. So then here, we're giving a little bit more information. This is the first time we're really going into a little bit more information. We're nurturing that person through our marketing funnel. Okay? So the headline says, make your new home your dream home. Did you know, Smart Savvy Canadian, just like you, are using the Canadian Home Renovation Plan. They're renovating kitchens, bathrooms, basements. They're creating a dream home that is custom just for them. And then it says, it goes on to say, part is that there's no additional payments. Everything's included in your mortgage. Okay? And so that gives them a little doubt. Ah, okay, cool. I don't have to go out of pocket for any new money. Okay, this is interesting. Now, remember what I said earlier, and I know you can't see these right now, but it says, I said as soon as I got the prospect really turned on, I need to deliver more information to them quickly. So they can text for more information, they can phone, or they can go to a single property website, which is right here on the feature sheet, which is showing that every single listing that you load into this program, we also build a fully customized single property website, indexed for Google, up on into the web, so that when people search and or when people go direct from the marketing that you do, they're dropping right onto a website that is built just for this program. And that's one of the other very important changes we made when I read the Zero Moment of Truth. We moved from a concept of one website with multiple pages of information to multiple websites. The concept is today in the new world, and you know, quite frankly, we could get better at this, but I drop people on a website for each idea that I want them to do, so that I don't distract them with anything else. I just want you to learn the idea that I'm selling you right now. Okay? And that's what's happening in that single property website. Every one of the marketing material has a realtor's headshot and realtor's contact information. Okay? So, let's go back to the phone. Those of you who played around, you will have seen this text message come through. So now we're on that, you text in. If you have an open house coming up, we advertise that for you. Otherwise, we'll just put in some features about the house and we hyperlink the realtor's phone number for a direct contact. But this is the text message that we're really interested in. It says, let us give you up to $40,000 to customize this home. Click the link for info. Okay? And so, you know, we've been with our partners, we've been in the text marketing business for, you know, upwards of 5 years. There's over 20,000 listings that we've done. You know, we have, you know, thousands of realtors who've used this program across Canada. And so we have some pretty good data. There's a very high percentage of people who click that link. Why do you suppose that might be? Because we know that it's permission-based marketing. And more importantly, I had to go to work to get this information. I actually had to go and text in, so I'm really interested. I'm going to click the link. Okay? What happens when I do that? I land on a landing page that the headline is the same as the headline on the copy. That's really important. It's what's called alignment. I'm not going to go into a real long discussion about why that is, but Google has taught us that that's super important, so that the prospect knows I am in the right place to find my information, just in that split second. And then on their phone, it says, imagine this common problem. You find what appears to be the perfect home for you in the area that you want to live in. During the viewing, you discover that it needs some work. Okay? And then the first call to action. That button says, view your customized home renovation plan. People will either click that or they don't. They might keep scrolling, they want more information. Those of you who play along on your phone, I encourage you to scroll down to the bottom of that page and go ahead and put your name and email and press send at the bottom of that thing, because I think you'd like to know what happens next. You know, what's the next piece of the marketing funnel mechanics that we send out to that prospect on your behalf? Remember, I'm the listing realtor, and I'm sending more information to that prospect because I want them to buy my house. Go back up to the top. Realtors love this part too. This is really cool technology. We really like it. Realtors love it. If you click on the button that says featured listing, we build this for you. We'll bring in all the photos from MLS. We put in a mortgage calculator. There's a Google address plug-in. There's an open house details if there happens to be one. We pull in the property description from MLS. If you created a virtual tour for the property, we'll dump that on your mobile website for you as well. If people press play on that video, it opens up on their whole phone and they get to see that house, and they might be just sitting right outside that house. Okay? So, here's that sheet that comes to them after they put in their name and email. Marketing funnel mechanics. If I think if you've gone this far, you are very interested in my house. Okay? Because now you've learned that I really like the house, and there's $40,000 on the table here, and I can figure out how I can use that money to customize the house. I want to learn more. And if you've got to this stage in this, my listing is getting at the top of the list of the one that's going to get sold. Right? And so, the first page, now in here, what we do is we give a lot more information. You know, what's going on? How does this work? Trustworthy marketing. Give them all the information that they need to make a decision. Because they don't want to phone the salesperson necessarily. They want to read it themselves. So we give it all to them. On this particular page, looks like a lot of copy, and well, it is. But the truth is that the people who are buying a house and interested in this program, they'll read it. They want to read it. And that's in fact why it's actually counterintuitive. We actually want them to be able to have more information and read it through. And all this marketing is done for you without you having to actually explain it to them. Okay, so that particular page shows them the step-by-step how you get the money. Get your budget approved, get the mortgage approved, and then do the renovations, and then get your money. Okay, explains it exactly how it works. This particular page just explains some other options that they might consider. Well, maybe you're thinking about putting on a line of credit or a credit card versus adding it to your mortgage. Here's all the math, here's how it looks. We don't really care which way you go. It's up to you. We want to give you all the information that you might be looking for. Okay? And then finally, this is a really important one. We get a lot of good feedback from this. We've had realtors tell us that this is really cool, it works. And on there, there's a second question says, do you have other homes in this area that qualify for the home renovation plan? Now, how did we add that question? Because we were getting that question. Imagine, you guys were my prospects, my listing, you showed up and you looked at this program, but you didn't like my house. You just decided I'm not getting it. What's the next question you're going to ask? I don't really like this program. What other houses in this area could I go get money to customize the house? That's your next question. So the answer says, yeah, call Jeff Pincher, who's the realtor in this case. Here's his phone number. We pulled that all in. And it says, because he'll give you a list of other properties in this area that are pre-approved for the Canadian Home Renovation Plan. Or, if you have other houses that you're looking at, we'll pre-approve those for you. Now the truth is, it's every house in Toronto. Right? But we want the prospect to call the realtor to get that list, to get that information, so that I'm pulling in leads and converting leads off your listings. In an ever-increasingly disloyal world, if the person is not under buyer's agency and they come to my listing and they look at this and they like this program, they're not that super tight with their realtor, they might call me and now I'm going to be able to start doing business with them because they like my program. And we know that that's happening. This is just a quick snapshot. Remember, this particular listing was 13 Tuscany Glen Road. So the listing, the single property website is 13TuscanyGlenRoad.info. We built that website for you. You can see that you got featured listing, contact the agent, all the same buttons that were on the mobile site are also here. A couple of changes though. We will do this. We will create a banner for you so that it'll match the marketing of your site, so you have some alignment in your marketing. And the other big one is that extra report that people on their phone had to email to get. Okay, on my phone I'm a bit limited because I have to, it's a big file, and to download it onto the phone, it's going to chew up data. So we were limited, we had to email to people. But we really know that people increasingly today don't like that, where I have to give my email before I get the information. And I got to be really interested to do that. And so on the web, we want to be able to just show them the information. Okay? And soon it's going to be, it'll just be built right into the web page. Okay? I'm going to do it really quick. I want to teach you, show you this program because we added this into the presentation because it's just working. This is dead of the winter, January, February statistics and results that we're hearing from the field about open house. So some of you may or may not do open houses. Maybe you're doing less than you did. Maybe you don't like the results you're getting before. Or maybe, if you have buyer's agents or people or junior people are doing them for you, let me show you how this works. In most cases, the open houses today, and I sometimes do this. I go around open houses in my area. Some people think I maybe because I want to see what's going on. And sadly for me, the experience is largely the same. I can go to 10 open houses in any particular weekend, and I'm going to get some version of, I walk in the open house, the realtor's going to say, hey, how's it going? Welcome, take a look around, I'll be sitting over there. If you have any questions, let me know. So I walk around the house, I come back to the front of the house, the realtor says something like, so what'd you think? How'd you like the house? Oh yeah, it's nice. You say, are you working with another realtor? Yes, I am. Okay, great. And then the realtor just walks back to their house, and that's it. That's the end of the open house. I play around with sometimes just for fun, just to see what you learn. But what if I ran a pattern interrupt open house? What if, as the person's coming into the house, I'm handing them their sheet? Here's my feature sheet on this program. This house comes with $35,000 that you can use to customize this home to your taste. And in fact, I can do that with any of the other houses you might be looking at in this area right now. So take a look around. If you have any questions, they'll be sitting over there. Then as they walk through the house, those postcards are all over the house, and there's other little brochure stands sticking up, and they're saying about all the ways they might be able to customize this house. Right? And then what happens, do you think, when they come back to the front of the house? Realtors are reporting to us regularly that dramatic increase in meaningful conversations that they're having with prospects because the customer comes back to the front of the house and says, okay, you got it. Like, how does this work? Like, I don't understand. What's it mean? I am now in a nice, meaningful conversation with a prospect, but I don't want to answer all their questions right now because I want to capture their information. So I might say something like, hey, well, you know what? I can send you a complete customized for this particular house in your budget, show you the math, show you exactly how it all works. I can send you a report. Would you like me to do that? Yeah, I would. Okay, great. Here, I'm on my phone. There, I just ordered it for you. Would it be all right if I followed up with you? Yeah, that'd be great. Boom. You know, and realtors are saying I'm getting sometimes upwards of 50% or more of the visitors that come to my open house are ordering reports and becoming prospects for me and leads that I'm generating. Most realtors will say I don't get 50+% of the visitors at open house become leads instantly. The open house program, this is dead of the winter stuff, right? Where's it going to be in the spring? Okay, so just a couple of slides here. I'll leave this in. It's kind of, can't see it again, unfortunately, but this is a new features that are coming in the next feature release. But I put it in here so I like to get some feedback in terms of where we're going with it. This is obviously Facebook, and so easy one where we can just add your listing to your Facebook business wall. We're going to do that actually quite shortly. But this is creating an actual single property site on Facebook. Why would we do that? I'm actually not sure that it's actually going to drive me to get more buyers, sell the house any quicker, pardon me. But what I'm hoping happens is that at the listing presentation is just one more thing that I can show people that's new as a seller. But what I want to do is I want to encourage the seller to get all their friends to like their new listing. Because I'm selling my house, everybody liked my page. People will do that. Every time somebody likes it, everybody else in their downline gets to see that like. Right? And so then what ends up happening is they come to that site, they get this big thing here, and they can download this program about how they can buy a home, customize it to their taste. I got all these buyers on Facebook now that are downloading my material, and then there's a virtual tour down here, and there's other things, all the photos for the house, everything is going to be on there. Okay? So just another way, we're going to do Kijiji, we've got Facebook, we got other ways that we can not just put up the listing that says, hey, I got a really nice house for sale, here's the price, you want to buy it. It's, I got this listing up here, you can get $35,000 to customize this home to your taste. That's a different click-through. People are going to be interested in that headline, much more than, hey, it's got a house for sale. Okay? So, remember I said there were 3 things that we said we were going to do for realtors. One was win tough listing competitions. The second was sell homes faster. The third one, which I think is maybe one of the more important ones, and that is convert more leads from the marketing efforts that I'm already doing. Okay? I started this presentation with a question that said, why do we as sales and marketers think that the answer to my problems are just go get more traffic? We get this all the time as marketing consultants. Realtors phone us up and say, you know what, you'd solve all my problems if you just send more traffic to my website. You'd solve all my problems if I get more traffic in my open houses, blah, 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 blah. But I think that's the wrong thing to look at going forward. I think what's important going forward is I want to look at conversion. Because I'll tell you what, getting more qualified traffic today is increasingly more difficult. And it's certainly increasingly more expensive. And so here's the cool part about when I focus on conversion. I don't have to move that needle very much. Depending on where I am in my production and where I am in my goals, if I'm one end a month or couple ends a month, whatever it might be, I don't have to move conversion very much. Just a couple more people that converted open houses showing. A couple more people reading my ads and converting into my marketing funnels. I don't need much to get 1 or 2 more sales a month, and I've just doubled my business. I just got to get better at conversion. And so how many leads per month might I get if I'm working things like I've got all these listings that have pattern interrupt marketing on it. All of them have mobile technology. I don't have to tell you, I'm sure you've known it from your real estate conferences and things that you guys go to, that the usage of mobile marketing and the usage of mobile browsing in the world in marketing is off the charts. In fact, it's so far off the charts they can't build a chart anymore that would show how much that's off the charts. Interestingly enough, in real estate marketing, it's still reasonably cutting edge. There's just not a lot of realtors today that are using mobile browsing and mobile marketing, but the marketplace is saying I want it, particularly if you're under 40. So there's a real opportunity here to really connect those dots. I can have all my listings have mobile technology. Then I can have, postcards. I told you about open house. Every single one of my listings has a single property website. Okay, so I understand that. And I think what we need to do in this industry is we need to move from a philosophy of a business referral relationship, because I think that is the old world was meant that I was really only looking out for myself. What do I get? I think we need to move from a business referral relationship to a real solid strategic business partnership where we are both trying to help each other grow our business. So now my mindset, people who follow me, They learn that my mindset is to come to you and say, hey, Mr. Realtor, I see you have 2 deals on your desk. May I please help you get 4? And then can I have 3? So it's a different philosophy. To the extent that I do this well, to the extent that I actually do help you win listing competitions, I actually help you sell your homes faster, I help you win more buyers, I help you convert more leads at open houses, I help you convert more leads off your app, and you're growing your business, I think it's fair for me to ask you for business in return. I think that's fair, right? So, on that sheet, you'll see 2 questions. The first question says, now that I see the wisdom of making sure my buyers really understand the program, really understand what's going on, how many buyers do I have today that I might be prepared to refer over to Lee and his team so that they can get schooled up and really understand the program? You're not signing anything in blood. You're not giving anybody's names or numbers. You're just saying, we're looking for who wants to be our partners, who wants to work together and start sharing some business. The second question says, now that I see the wisdom of marketing my homes differently, pattern interrupt, get my homes sold faster, how many listings do I have right now that I might consider, putting up and adding to this program? Okay? Because the reason why that particular one is important, because you can well imagine that all of that stuff I showed you on the previous slide, we don't do this for a public service. There's a cost for that, part of the program. Okay? So the cost is $30 per listing. It's a special price. It's for our members only. The value is considerably more than that. Okay, most of the feedback we get from realtors is like, oh my God, $30 to get all that stuff I showed you on that previous slide? That's crazy. Okay? So the next question then becomes, well, okay, who's going to pay for this? How am I going to work with this? So that the extent that you are prepared to give some buyers up, you're prepared to do some business now, Lee might sit down with you and say, well, maybe I'm prepared to invest with you. Maybe I'll help you with this to get it going. Okay? So that's a decision. Now you're at a point where, as a realtor, I can have a cutting edge. I can be, by the way, the first realtor audience in this area that's ever seen this program. Don't misunderestimate the power of the early movers advantage. I'm out in the marketplace first with the cutting edge new stuff. So I can have the cutting edge new technology. It has absolutely no work on my part, and it might be free. This is the low risk offer you're ever going to get, right? So, I encourage you to fill that sheet out, leave it with us. Now, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. And that is, in the new world of marketing, I think of where we're going. It used to be that I was focused in business on I want to be better than my competition. The problem with that thinking was I was focused on my competition. What are they doing? I'm going to be better. I don't think that works anymore. I think I need to transition my thinking from I want to be better than my competition to that I want to be different than my competition. And to the extent that I do that well, I will win in the new world of marketing. Okay? So please consider connecting with me if you like. Follow my journey, and as we do new feature releases and new things about this program and new marketing ideas for our real estate marketing system, you'll try to learn out about that. So thank you very much for your gift of attention to me and my talk today.